In this video, we're talking about how to get to the bottom of perimenopausal brain fog. Perimenopausal brain fog is real. You know, when you're searching for your glasses that are on your head, or while you pour your 5th cup of coffee, not that you've drunk that many, but you just can't remember where they are, and you know you're going to find those half-drunk cups all over the house later. Or you're standing in the grocery store and you can't remember what you're there for, or you have trouble balancing your checkbook, or you forget the name of someone you just met yesterday. I knew a woman who, before working with me on natural hormone balancing, was ready to take a leave of absence from getting a graduate degree, because when brain fog hit her in the middle of her program, it was so severe she would just read the same page in her textbook over and over again, and her grades, which had been stellar, were tanking. So it can be really severe. And in this video, we're going to look at where perimenopausal brain fog comes from, how long it lasts, whether you should be worried about it, and what you can do to get your regular brain back. So I'm Dana Lavoie. I'm an acupuncturist and herbalist. I help women feel amazing during and after menopause using customized herbal remedies supported by the best diet and lifestyle for their hormones over at danalavoielec.com, and I would love to help you. So what is brain fog? What does it feel like when it happens because of hormonal changes? So brain fog can feel like short-term memory loss, forgetting names and words, not being able to problem solve or assess situations well, and losing track of details. It can feel hard to concentrate, like you're reading the same page over and over, or never getting to the end of the chapter because what you're reading just isn't making sense. And it can be really severe. There's an article in the New York Times about a 55-year-old former headmistress of an entire school who had a year-long history of progressive memory loss and behavioral problems, so severe she was referred to a neurologist with a possible diagnosis of frontotemporal dementia. Okay, dementia. So that's the scary word, right? When in fact, her severe brain fog was all caused by hormones. So the neurologist wrote this article to help educate more other neurologists and people about this, because it's not uncommon for severe cases of menopausal brain fog to be misdiagnosed. So don't avoid getting checked out if you're having severe neurological changes, but be sure to look for the possibility of a hormonal cause as well. So, does everyone get brain fog with menopause? Well, it's very common for women in perimenopause to get this brain fog. In fact, about 60% of women get it. But let's step back for just a second here. If 60% of women experience it, 40% of women don't. It's not quite half and half, but it's close. So brain fog is not necessary or required when going through menopause. Plenty of women's bodies go through all of menopause without any brain fog. It's totally possible. So what's the difference, and how can you prevent or get rid of brain fog even while going through perimenopause? Well, we're going to get to that in just a second. But first I want to go over just a few more facts. When during the menopausal transition does brain fog start, and how long does it last? Well, brain fog is likely to set in when your body first starts producing less hormones, and hormone levels are changing the fastest and the most. The biggest fluctuations are happening. So mid-40s to mid-50s. And brain fog usually improves once your estrogen levels stabilize again post-menopause. So it's when you're going through the biggest changes that it tends to be the worst. However, if your hormone levels remain out of balance, too low, or just not quite where your body wants them, right? Like your estrogen progesterone ratio is off, you have a little estrogen dominance. If after menopause, when your hormones stabilize, they're not in a great place, it's possible for the brain fog to last much longer and to just keep going on and on. So, but if it does, it's just another sign your body is a bit out of balance hormonally. It doesn't necessarily mean it's coming from your brain directly. So this leads us to, should you worry about brain fog? Does it mean you're more prone to Alzheimer's or other types of dementia? Menopausal brain fog does not necessarily mean your brain is degenerating or that you're starting any type of dementia. However, midlife is a time when you want to start caring for your brain in every way possible. And if you are one of the 60% of women with brain fog, it does mean your brain is struggling a bit. So why not give it some support and help to get it back to functioning better? Because that can only make your chances of any type of brain issues, including dementia, decrease in the years to come. And this kind of preventative wellness is a huge part of Chinese medicine and all the herbal combinations that I create for my clients and students. So, what causes brain fog? Changing hormone levels can cause brain fog, right? So, women's brains are sensitive to fluctuating levels of estrogen, right? So when your estrogen levels are changing, it has a big effect on your brain, both in terms of cognitive ability and mood. And it's not just lower estrogen levels, it's the fluctuations, the big ups and downs that can happen pretty unpredictably during menopause. Because every time your hormones like your estrogen change suddenly or significantly, it creates waves of physiological changes in your brain. And your brain has to adjust to every change in estrogen. You can think of it this way. Your brain has receptors for different things that feeds your brain. You know, like your mouth is a receptor for food, right? Your brain is used to eating meals made up of certain nutrients being put into certain receptors at certain times each day. Well, when the estrogen receptors in your brain start all of a sudden getting no estrogen one day, and then lots of estrogen 2 days later, and then no estrogen, each time it's like your brain sits down to eat, and then like the main course is missing, right? Some days it's there, some days it's missing. And your brain has to adjust its whole diet and metabolism every time this changes in one direction or the other. And when this starts happening over and over, some brains get cranky and they just have trouble adjusting. So brain fog is more likely if you're having ups and downs in your hormone levels that are too big, too sudden, or too irregular, or if your hormone levels just bottom out and drop too low, especially if it happens suddenly. Also, the other side is if your brain is not that great at adapting to change, you're more likely to experience brain fog during perimenopause. And this right here is where we can step in because we can work on both of these things. We can help make the hormone changes run more smoothly to prevent the hormones from ever dropping too low or changing too suddenly. So it's a very harmonious process. And we can help your brain stay adaptable. Now, in addition to big and sudden hormone changes, estrogen levels dropping too low, like it doesn't matter if it happens suddenly or over time, if they bottom out, if they just drop too low, especially after menopause, and there's just not enough estrogen in your system to help keep you at your healthiest, this can be a problem too. Because having sufficient estrogen, even the smaller amount that you normally have after menopause, having that amount is really important because that amount is sufficient to help increase circulation to your brain. And I learned this recently, that having enough estrogen actually helps prevent your brain from shrinking with age. One of the things that happens if your estrogen level bottoms out too low is that your brain physically shrinks. So it's just another reason we want to do everything we can to support our body to keep making hormones, right, as efficiently as possible. We want to help our body with this in every way so that those hormone levels, even though they're getting lower, they don't drop too low during or after menopause. The effect this has on keeping our brain healthy is one of the reasons it helps prevent so many signs of aging after menopause. Like I said, keeping those hormone levels from dropping too low is good for so many things having to do with your health, your brain being just one of them. Now, another thing I want to talk about for a sec in terms of your brain is changing blood sugar hormones. Because remember how I said your brain was trying to eat regular meals every day? Well, one thing that some studies show can happen in menopause specifically is that the brain's ability to absorb glucose, a kind of sugar and the brain's main food, can decrease. So the glucose is there, but the brain's not absorbing it. It's like you've got the food, but your mouth is shut. You can't put it in the receptor, okay? So MRI studies have actually shown that it's common to see a sudden drop in the brain's ability to absorb glucose by up to 20 to 25% between starting perimenopause and entering postmenopause. So while your female hormones are changing, Sometimes your brain's ability to absorb glucose will also change dramatically, which is not a great thing. So what happens is the brain's receptors become less efficient and less sensitive to glucose. And glucose is the brain's main fuel source. And the link I'm trying to make here is studies show that women with the lowest estradiol levels, which is like one of our best forms of estrogen, if your estradiol is particularly low, if, like I said, if estrogen drops just too low during menopause, you're more likely to experience brain fog. So we see the same thing again. Estrogen dropping too low or too suddenly can be really tough on your brain. So I've given you some of the mechanisms as to why that is, just because they're scary, so they're motivating. But bottom line is, what can we do about it? All right, we want to support our estrogen and progesterone levels during perimenopause so they transition smoothly, don't make any sudden changes or ever drop below a certain point and really bottom out. This is so healthy. It's healthy for many reasons, one being it's much easier on your brain. So I want to talk for a minute about other possible causes of brain fog. So there are other things happening in your body as you go through midlife and age that can contribute to not just hormonal brain fog, but also actual mental deterioration. And it's great to proactively address all of those at the same time as brain fog. Just kind of putting a wellness practices in place to ensure that you're doing everything you can to make sure your brain stays healthy and sharp for years and years to come. So here are some of the highlights of caring for your brain during and after menopause. Of course, you want to take care of your hormone levels. We're going to come to that in a minute. We've talked a lot about the female hormones dropping too low is hard on your brain. But as your female hormone levels drop, neurotransmitter levels can lower right along with your hormones. So as we age, our body produces less estrogen and progesterone. That's normal, that's okay. Our natural levels of many other hormones and chemicals are decreasing as well. So it's natural for neurotransmitter levels. These are the chemicals in our brain. It's how our brain communicates. So it's normal for these to decrease somewhat as well. They're like the messengers that relay information from one brain cell to the next. So yes, levels are going to decrease as we age, but there's so much we can do to prevent hormone or neurotransmitter levels from decreasing more than necessary. The difference between lower and zero is huge in terms of how many signs of aging you experience. That's the difference between, are you in the percentage of women that has all these symptoms of menopause and all these signs of aging setting in early and all these diseases of aging, or are you one of the ones who seems to just stay feeling really well and that stuff doesn't happen to you so much? This is one of the big things that makes that difference, is keeping those energies and hormones. And in Chinese medicine, we call it your yin and yang jing. You keep those levels higher, you feel better. So we want to support the body's ability to continue to make hormones and neurotransmitters, which, like I said, in Chinese medicine has some very specific names and way of doing it. Because of the amount of hormones and neurotransmitters is going to be lower, we want the body to make use of every bit of hormones and neurotransmitters that we do have left, which means we also want to make sure the brain stays as sensitive and adaptable as possible. So those receptors in your brain, we want to make sure that they are very sensitive, that every time a glucose or an estrogen comes by, every time you get some food, you can open your mouth and eat it, right? We want to make sure those receptors are staying very sensitive, because otherwise you can have the higher levels of neurotransmitters and hormones, but if you can't put them in the receptor slots, you might as well not even have them. You don't feel like you have them. Your body can't make use of them. So we both want to keep the levels high and keep the receptors sensitive. So those are two parts of caring for your brain. And what that means in terms of the receptors is keeping circulation strong, right? And to keep the sensitivity of the receptors working as efficiently as possible. We want our brains to remain sensitive to estrogen and glucose. And poor circulation can contribute to problems with lower neurotransmitter levels and loss of sensitivity. Now, if inflammation or plaque narrows the blood vessels, blood flow is reduced to the brain. Hormone imbalance, stress, or high blood sugar, unbalanced sex hormone levels, unbalanced blood sugar hormone levels, or high stress hormone levels can all increase brain fog. High toxin levels in your body or poor detoxification function, so your body is carrying a high level of toxins or your detoxification pathways are not working well, these can all lead to increased brain fog in various ways. So it sounds like a lot. What do we do? Like, what's realistic that we can do to actually start eliminating brain fog, start thinking clearly again right now, instead of waiting for menopause to be over? You do not just want to wait for menopause to be over and hope that the brain fog will go away as your hormones stabilize again. Because if you're getting a ton of brain fog, it already means your hormones are dropping too suddenly or too low. You want to support those hormone levels now. If your brain fog resolves now, that is a good sign. Please don't just wait for it to be over. So there are 3 factors that affect how sharply your brain is working that are likely to change during menopause: hormones, stress, and toxins. And you can keep your brain function better during menopause and help prevent brain fog during menopause and help prevent brain deterioration after menopause by addressing all 3. And here's how you can do that. Support hormone levels. So one of the things I teach about most is how to help your body continue to make hormones as efficiently as possible. So none of your sex hormone levels like estrogen and progesterone or even testosterone drop too suddenly or too low during or after menopause. This is one of the most basic things you can do to support your health and healthy aging. Keeping your hormone levels high enough helps you feel much better. It helps prevent menopause symptoms and it helps prevent many signs of aging after menopause, including brain fog. And the best way to help your body keep making enough hormones is to use a combination of the right diet, the right lifestyle, and the right herbs. Now, you can use hormone replacement therapy instead, but the natural choice, the natural alternative would be herbal remedies. Herbal remedies specifically to support the hormone levels are the closest thing to hormone replacement therapy in terms of helping your body significantly maintain or increase your hormone levels. But the herbs work much better when supported by the right diet and lifestyle. The diet gives you the basic hormonal building blocks, and the right lifestyle plugs hormonal leaks, places where you're losing hormones as fast as you can make them. So when you put all 3 together, the diet, the lifestyle, and the herbal remedies, you get the best results. So I said in this series of blog articles on symptoms of estrogen dominance that I was going to give you one action step in each video, because if you focus on these specific action steps, they are going to be simple, they are going to be doable, and they are going to be the most important ones that you can take for overall benefit instead of just getting like overwhelmed by all the information. I mostly give you all the information because it's a little bit scary, so it's very motivating. But then I just want you to focus on these simple action steps. So what to do for relief from brain fog. Like I said, I'm breaking it down for you in each article. I'm going to give you one action step to focus on to have a healthy estrogen-progesterone ratio with supported progesterone levels and good estrogen detoxification. So you can check out the other articles in the series, but your action step for this article is hormones and brain cells are both made mostly of fat. Yes, fat. So to help your body keep making hormones and to keep your brain healthy, you need to have plenty of hormonal building blocks on hand, and that means healthy fats. So your action step for today is to make sure you're including enough healthy fats in your diet every day. Healthy fats are things like avocados, coconut oil, olive oil, nuts, seeds, and nut and seed oils. Though with the nut and seed oils, don't cook with them or heat them up. So you can download my absolutely free hormone balancing smoothie recipe to learn more about an easy way to get the right healthy fats in your diet every day. It shows you how healthy fats are one of the building blocks of the best diet for your hormones and easy ways to get those healthy fats in your diet each day. And I know a lot of blog articles that you read about brain health give you a list of like 12 specific supplements you're supposed to take because they're great for brain health. But what we're doing here is we're going back to basics, right? The first action step in this series was one's getting enough vegetables in your diet. And I told you exactly why that is so important for estrogen and progesterone. And then here we're talking about healthy fats. And if you do both of these each and every day, you're putting the basics in place for healthy hormones and a healthy brain for the rest of your life. The specific supplements and the specific remedies, they just don't work that well without the foundation, without the basics, without the macronutrients and the overall anti-inflammatory body balance in place first. So to learn more about these hormone care foundation and basics, take my Hormone IQ quiz. It is a completely free resource available on my website, and your detailed, customized, personalized quiz results are like a total hormones 101. You'll find out what you're doing right with those hormone care basics, and you'll find out what's missing in your hormone care and exactly how to fix it, how to fill in those gaps. But then once you have those basics in place, you're ready to see really big results. You're ready to add in those customized herbal remedies that meet your hormones where they're at and change with your hormones during and after menopause. Customized herbal remedies are what can help keep your hormone levels balanced and high enough, more than any other type of natural remedies. And when you're ready, you want to check out my online program about using herbs during and after menopause. It's really unique and it's exactly what you may be looking for. So I'm going to include a link where you can learn more about it. Be sure to get on the wait list for the next time the course opens if you're the least bit interested. I'm Dana Lavoie. I am an acupuncturist and herbalist. I help women feel amazing during and after menopause using natural remedies, and I would love to help you. I am here for you. I answer questions in my free Facebook group and in the comments below, so please put your comments and questions right below this video. I would love to answer them for you. Be sure to take advantage of the free hormone balancing resources available on my website, danalavoielac.com, and just hit me up with a question and let me know what else I can do to help. All right, you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.